Hello and welcome to this space. My name is Opoku-Asare. Um, so this week has been a bit of a difficult week for me. Um, I I think that because of the people that I surround myself with, I sometimes find myself in a bubble where a lot of the people around me are very empathetic and um, they go out of their way to be inclusive and to put to try to bring other people into the fold, and to they understand that there are different types of people. And so I am usually extremely shocked, not surprised, like shocked when I encounter, horrible experiences of people um, treating others um, badly because they are different. And I've tried so hard to try and understand why people will treat other people differently in a bad way, not because they're bad people, not because, they're terrible humans, but because they look different or because they sound different. It's just, I haven't figured it out. And so this past week, um, you know, um, that happened to one of my family members where, they were called a derogatory name. And, this was at school. So it, you know, it hit me different. Um, I cried a lot, and the crying felt like a loss. It was like, when you've lost someone and you're crying, it wasn't like, oh, I hurt my toe and I'm crying. It was deep pain. And so I thought that this week I'll talk about, as parents, as, educators, as people who have, children or teenagers or people who are looking up to us, around us. It is important for us to be intentional in teaching inclusion and in teaching diversity, to our children, our nieces, our nephews, just the younger generation around us. And the fact that you don't want to talk about it and the fact that you're not being intentional doesn't um, mean that it's not there. Um, if if we want to be successful, we do things to make sure that we're successful. We don't just sit down and fold our arms and think that we're going to be successful. If we want to be better readers, we read frequently so that we get better at it. If we want a more inclusive society, we want our children to live in a society, that is more inclusive. We want our nieces and our siblings, to live in a world where, people judge them by the worth of their character and not by how they look or how they sound. Um, or whatever dimension of diversity that they bring to the table, it is important that we are intentional about it. So I thought I would share a few things that, I have used with my kids. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, but some of these things that I'm sharing, I've used them for a while. Um, so one of the first books that I got for my kids was the Sesame Street book. It is Sesame Street, we're different, we're the same, um, and we're all wonderful. It's an easy read. Um, I liked it because it's very simple. It was the first book that I got, to talk about diversity with my kids. I didn't necessarily use the word diversity, but I just wanted to talk about, I just wanted them to notice that, people had different noses, people had different eyes, people had different skin colors. I think, pretending that people are not different doesn't solve the problem either. And so this was actually one of the first books that I bought. It's a very easy read. I've had it for 4 years now, and we revisit it, once in a while. I use it with my daughter, and then when my son could read, I used it with him as well. It's a very, very easy read. And then another one that I really like is by Tay Diggs, illustrated by Shane Evans. Um, it's called You Are Sweet and Delicious, Chocolate Me. And I got this book because, where we live is not as diverse. And so I wanted to be able to talk about skin color, but in a way that a child could repeat that to somebody else. So this this is a good, it's a really good, again, it's a very easy read. Okay, I didn't see that coming. I apologize. Um, it's an easy read. A few more words than the other one that I just showed you, but I think this is like good a good first read. It's by Tay Diggs, and I like it. Okay. The other one that I also wanted to share is The Skin You Live In by Michael Tyler, illustrated by David Lee Sisko. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Um, this is it. This is another one that I read with my kids. I enjoyed it. It's also again a very easy read. A few more pages, a different look at things. The difference between Chocolate Me by Tay Diggs and The Skin You Live In by Michael Tyler is that this is more like, a story, about a boy. And this is more of pointing out the differences. So it's like education, you know. So it's a very simple read. I think, between the ages of 4 and 8, 7, like if you're just starting with your kids. So these are the 3 ones that I started with. I'll find my other ones and share those with you, like the more recent ones. But I thought, as a first step, like if you have young kids and you want to talk about these diversity and inclusion with them, I think another thing that you can do is that, choose books. Be intentional about the books that you choose for your kids. Like choose books that have different characters, right? So, my daughter really likes this. Friends, Making Them and Keeping Them. It's an American Girl book, but you can see that there are different people in the book. And then also choose books or movies or stories that the character doesn't look like your family. The character looks different. This is a simple one. Emerson is Mighty Girl. Just, it's important to choose books that the characters are different, so um, it helps your kids to see that not everybody in the world looks like your family. So choose books with different characters. And then the last one is, choose books that show the world. One of the things that is important for me when it comes to, our kids is that, I need them to know that the experiences that they have is not the same experience that everybody's having. So traveling is important to me. I need them to go to different places and realize that, people live differently, people do things differently. I don't want them to be surprised when they're older that the whole world does not look like where they live. And so if you cannot travel or take your kids to places that, just show the world, read. This is a simple one. I like Peppa Pig. Around the World with Peppa. This is a scholastic book and I level one, but it's a really cool story. My kids, I remember, liked this one a lot, but it just shows different places in the world. And then, in history as well, like, if your kids see only the same people who are in the history books, or the scientists or whatever, this is a good book. It was a gift from one of my colleagues, but it's She Persisted Around the World. It's written by Chelsea Clinton and illustrated by Alexandra Boyer. 13 Women Who Changed the World. And I love this one because it has the diversity. It just has so many different women, different people in there. I just want to end by saying, when kids say mean things to other kids in school, it's because they are exposed to that. They have either heard us as parents say it or somebody in their network say it. And so, be intentional about what do you teach your kids about difference, and understand that simple comments that you may be making to somebody can impact their entire life. It just changes how they see the world entirely. A statement that you didn't think would. So I challenge you, if you're a parent, you're an auntie, you're an uncle, whoever you are, talk to your kids about difference and about, the world, and about how, there are different languages and different people and different looks, different skin types, and, even different abilities. And like, just do not shy away from it. Do something about it. There are many resources that you can use. Do share extra resources that you have used to talk about, difference with your kids in the comments below. And thank you for joining this space.